if you were a teenage girl growing up in the 1970s without mobile phones and internet, Jackie magazine was your ultimate go-to guide covering everything from pop music to problem pages.
Well, now the Jackie archives have become the inspiration for a brand new musical which will tour the country next year. We're joined now by former editor of Jackie magazine, Myskow, who has lent her experience and knowledge to the project. So it's lovely to see you. And so the first reaction, of course, is Jackie the musical? Really?
It's even more extraordinary than a UFO over LA. I mean, absolutely amazing. When you think about it, I mean, I started on Jackie in the 60s. I worked on it for 12 years, and the last 4 in the 70s, I was the editor. Decades later, I'm now involved with this project. And the extraordinary thing about Jackie is that it had such a resonance with its readers that even now, you know, women in their certain age, late 40s, 50s, if you mention the word Jackie to them, they immediately are transported back to that time. And so now there have been Jackie books, Jackie CDs, and now there's this musical.
Well, Jackie fashion with ASOS,
yes.
So it's a retro fashion,
Yes,
1970s, that collaboration. So this is not something that's just come out of nowhere, because there was a test of a couple of weeks run in Dundee in 2013.
Absolutely, and the reaction of, I didn't see it then, the reaction was absolutely extraordinary. You know, people screaming, dancing in the aisles, because it's the music of the era is just so resonant to people. You know, there's a David Cassidy, Donny Osmond, David Essex, Mark Bolan, all of that sort of stuff. And now it's going to be an even bigger production, and it's launching next March. Arlene Phillips is doing the choreography. How great is that?
Well, how do you change all of that? How do you capture that sort of magic of the 70s, of that time being a teenager, and turn it into a musical? What's the story?
It's very, very clever. I could never have imagined how to do it. It's brilliant. It's the story of a 50-something divorcee at that kind of crossroads in her life where everything is difficult. And she suddenly thinks to herself, she was a Jackie reader, I wonder what Kathy and Claire would have advised me. So she goes back to the old days of Jackie to work out. But it's a story about her life. It's like Mamma Mia is a proper story. But of course it's peppered through with all the music of her youth and the stuff that we all remember. Yeah.
So what was it about Jackie? Why was it so popular, and what is it? When I look down here at my iPad, we've got Sharon saying, I still remember the excitement of waking up on delivery day to find my Jackie waiting for me on the doormat. If the newsagent was late with a delivery, the disappointment was unbearable. What was it?
It's every Thursday, sixpence. It was several things. It was the fact that in those days teenagers almost didn't exist as a group. You know, they lived a kind of black and white life. You had your pecking order in the family. You didn't have a mobile phone, so there was no laptops, no nothing like that. So you had no connection, no social media. If there was a phone in the house, it was plugged in the hall, and your mum and dad probably told you when you could use it. So you existed on your own. And suddenly there was the rise of this music, of the whole teeny bop thing, of the Jackson 5, David Cassidy, Donny Osmond, and there was a whole life somewhere happening. And Jackie was kind of your passport to that. And at the same time, we were kind of like a big sister. So it was make-up tips and fashion tips.
Big sister that didn't judge.
Big sister that did not judge, but was always there to support you.
But she wasn't allowed to go too far. I mean, definitely not by today's standards when you look at what's available and that sort of thing. I mean, you brought in a medical column, but it wasn't allowed to go. It was quite contained, wasn't it?
Mostly above the waist.
And you said yourself you would have quite liked to have made it go a little bit further.
Yes, I mean, the thing was, it was aimed at 12 to 15-year-old girls, and obviously very precocious younger ones read it, and older people read it as well. But that's what it was aimed at. And the publishers, D.C. Thompson, were very responsible. They wanted to look after the wee lassies, because it's a Scottish film from Dundee. And so we did have this caring attitude to the readers, and I wanted to try and engender not just the fun of it, but to give them a feeling of self-esteem, self-worth, to make them understand that they had choices in life, that they could have far horizons, that they didn't just have to grow up and get a bloke and then get married and have children, because that was a really serious option in those days. And I think that sort of connection with the readers.
So does it make you feel sad that it folded in 1993, although, as you said, the name lives on and it's done the various other aspects of it commercially, but the magazine it couldn't possibly survive in the modern world,
No.
because everything any teenager wants now, and specifically that identity, is available online.
Absolutely, and also it's very much more hothouse. I mean, Jackie was about romance rather than sex, and I feel really sad for today's teenagers because they're gone from Barbie dolls to bondage. There's all this pressures of sexting, all of that going on, and there's no one really to help them, which is probably why a vlogger like Zola...
I was going to say, but there are bloggers who are talking about this sort of thing, and vloggers and all those sorts of people. So has it just not been replaced by something a bit different? But it's still, you know, Jackie, your big sister's still there. She's just talking to you online.
You have to look very hard for it, and I think online is the way to go. But somebody needs to do a much more responsible, you know, fun way of actually connecting.
Well, Zoella's responsible.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But the thing is that it's a very difficult time, and we tend to forget that transition between being a little girl and being a woman is fraught with anxiety. You think no one else is going through the same problems as you, and I don't care however modern and sophisticated young teenagers are, they are still going through that, except under more pressured circumstances. So, but the musical is fun. I mean, it's going absolutely everywhere.
It's not been cast yet.
It's been cast. Janet Dibley is starring, and it's going to launch on March the 11th next year in Dundee. But it's going everywhere. It's going all the usual suspects. You know, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Brighton, Aberdeen. You know, everywhere.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. It really does.
Yeah.
Wimbledon as well, there you go.
I will be there on the first night. I'm so lucky to be part of it.
Jackie, I used to rotate the, says Jackie, it's a Jackie, a saying of Jackie. I used to rotate the centre pin-up on my bedroom wall, laughed every week when the newsagents used to say, here's your magazine, Jackie, because of course she's called Jackie. Susie, I bought Jackie magazine every week out of my paper round money. I will buy it again. It was a must for us Donny Osmond fans.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, still to come, Anna Cole and Lewis back to